We are back once again with some Escape from Tarkov PVE, but the problem is I am absolutely broke, but I have found out a way to make quite a bit of money, and this is generally a really good run as well to get your hands on some stuff that you can't obtain anywhere else, at least in the early game of Tarkov. So with that out of the way, it was all down to the fact that most items in the game are not able to just be sold at flea level 15. And for you guys who haven't been spending hours and hours and 10s and 20 hours, 30 hours already of playing the game, doing all of the quests and leveling up to, you know, level 20, etc., you want to find out a way how to make some money, because there are a lot of tasks, there are a lot of storyline tasks that do require you to have, you know, 4 million, a million here, a million there, spending money upgrading your hideout, that sort of thing, and being able to pick out some really great hideout items. This run is what I would say to be one of the best ones. So let's delve into it. It is obviously playing on Streets of Tarkov. So we are going to be jumping into the raid itself, and I'll show you the run that you need to do. Since we're waiting to get into the raid, I did want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel and just generally being a Chad, liking the videos, of obviously those of you that have subbed, or just simply literally watching the videos. I do massively appreciate it, so thank you very much. And of course, if you do want to catch me live on Twitch, we do have Twitch drops, etc., then you can find me over in Twitch in the link in the description of this video. Shameless plugs out of the way. I just thought it would be useful to some people who might want to watch me play live and see and ask me questions, whatever. It's really fun to just literally sit there and answer questions and talk about the game. So yeah, I mean, that's basically all I do on this channel anyway. So yeah, it's a ton of fun. I love doing it, but luckily we've got actually our loot loading in. So let's jump in a sec. Right then, we have loaded in the first area. It's over by the cinema on Streets, which is this building right here. It has 2 sniper scav spawns that can spawn on top of it. But they do take a while after the beginning of the raid to actually spawn in, so we should be safe for the moment. In this building, however, there is these sets of drawers, and the reason why you're going to be wanting to actually open up filing cabinets is the fact that we are going to get both hideout items that you can't just buy. So nuts, for example, level 30. So very, very important to be picking up those higher level items as we go, especially ones that are required for a lot of tasks. You're getting R batteries for any of the task lines. I've just recently done mine with Prapor. Some salt, which is once again for hideout items, and then, you know, just general assorted stuff. But the main reason we're opening these is because you can get a ton of keys out of Streets in general. Like, you get a lot of keys, and the keys themselves, there we go. First one, negotiation room. This is for the relaxation room key spawn building. Don't worry, you don't have to remember that. I'll show you exactly what I mean in a second, because we'll be heading over there. But we'll kind of do this run in a bit of reverse, because I've already got the relaxation room key, and I wanted to show off another thing at the exact same time as well, which is abandoned factory. You don't need this, trust me, but I did pick up the abandoned factory last night whilst running Streets, doing exactly this run. There we go, director's office key. So once again, don't have to spend the rubles on getting the key, or getting all of the hideout, or getting all of the barter items that you need to put into therapist to get the actual key. And there we go, an SAS drive, and basically just sticking anything that's super valuable or things that you need into your back, especially if they're not needing to be found in raid to be used. You got a load of food spawns in here at the exact same time, so if I'm running low on food, I'll basically drop through this room and then get myself some food, some more screws, a magnet, you know, all of this really good stuff. Basically a great stop to actually stop off when you are running on the Streets, just simply for those filing cabinets. There is a room upstairs, but I don't tend to search it, to be honest. So the end goal of the route, I'll show you in a second, is actually further over. This is the sniper scav that I was on about, so that's one of them. We've got some scavs somewhere. Is that one down? And then there's the other sniper scav up on the top left. They can also multiple of them can spawn as well. So they can spawn again after they've already spawned. So just be careful for that one. Now what we're doing is making our way directly past the cinema. The actual cinema building is this one right here, or theatre building, whatever you want to call it. It's called cinema. But we move past and we are heading down this street directly here. So over here. Now PMCs do spawn in this building. They can be here and they can also be down the street over on the right hand side as well. So AI PMCs can spawn down here. So be very, very careful. And then they can also spawn down the street itself. So we've aggroed a scav here somewhere. Either way, we move forward. So once we've got the key that is a guaranteed spawn on this map, we make our way into, of course, Relaxation Room. Those of you who have been watching the channel for any length of time, this is a really good room to make some rubles, because all of the rare spawns in the game are really good, because obviously we can sell them to therapists for just pure money. We don't need the flea to be able to make the money. Same with labs. And whilst labs is probably the best, you can't necessarily get your hands on labs access keycards until you've upgraded your workbench to level 2. So it's not necessarily as great. So this is more of an early game run that you can do at any level. And that's why we're kind of running this one instead of anything else. So obviously picking up any of the super rares, so things like moonshine, go straight into our pouch in our ass. If you haven't got as big of a container, it's fine. Just put whatever you can into your back pocket. And we'll once again put in a moonshine again. So 2 moonshines already, which is fantastic. Obviously, I have no idea what level moon... Uh-oh. Never mind. I may have just... Don't worry about me. I may have just drank some moonshine. But either way, the point is we can just list this on the flea by the looks of things. So it's a bit of money either way. And then we just put in any of the other rare, like, valuable spawns that we want to put in there. Obviously, I drank a moonshine. Don't do that in your raids, but don't worry about it. We'll move in here. There's often a Bitcoin on the floor. There isn't in this one, but that's fine. On the mannequin, you can also find armor. So helmets and an actual rig and that sort of stuff on the actual mannequin itself. So you can find that on there. So a nice little extra to coming in here. And then we've got a load more extra spawns that basically spawn on all of the chairs and also on the floor. So we're basically looking around. We'll grab up both of these just so that we've got a bit of food and drink. You can see a Veritas pick on the chair right there. On the right hand side of this chair, you'll also find some more rare spawns. And then obviously a little scav over here. So we can grab that one up. And we'll grab up this little scav figurine. And then over on this side, you'll also find that there are rare spawns. But be very, very mindful. Bitcoins can sometimes like clip through the seat of the chair, so it doesn't look like there's anything there, but there can be. There isn't actually in this one, but there can be, like, you know, Veritas picks or very small items that do clip underneath, and you'll find that out pretty much if you play Tarkov for any length of time, that the clipping through things with regards to very small items can be a case. But you're looking for that white little dot that shows up to tell you that the loot is actually there. Either way, continue our little picking up. There's another spawn on the left-hand side of this chair as well as the right. So check in there. Under this little folder thing, there can be, or magazine or whatever it is, there's also another rare spawn on the left-hand side. We've got a rare spawn here. And then in the jacket itself, so this jacket that's kind of lying down, there's also a rare spawn. So you can find Bitcoins in there. And we got ourselves another moonshine. So 3 moonshines out of Relax Room. Not bad at all. And we can drop some of the other stuff out. So let's drop out the badge. And there we go. Nice bit of money in there. And then drop out that euro and we can grab in. Let's grab in the gold skull since that's more valuable. And then some more food spawns. So always keeping ourselves basically at full metabolism, leveling up. Because really, really nice to level that up as quickly as possible. And this route generally has so many food spawns that you're constantly full. Now, one other thing, there's a safe right here. But as I've been listening down whilst I was in the room, I can hear that there's someone around the corner. So there's a little building just literally here. And PMC AI, I've caught them in there quite a few times. So you need to be careful when you're going in here. We want to look and loot up the safe. This can have lots of money in it. So just flat out money spawn. One of the best things about it. We got ourselves an intel folder and some more rubles. So we'll make our way into this little alleyway here. Now, if you haven't got yourself an abandoned factory key, which is very, very rare and probably the best thing that you can get at the very beginning, what you want to do is essentially not do this part of the run, and in fact make your way back to where we were, and I'll show you later on down in the run. You can actually skip ahead using the timestamp, so if you haven't got the marked room or you just want to find out what the marked room is, then you can choose to either watch or not watch. But this will be the first time I'm opening it on essentially this map, but we're hoping that we're getting labs keycards. That's the whole reason why we are actually opening this room, which is this one right here. And this, generally, the key, so this abandoned factory key is worth millions of rubles. So it's 4.5 million rubles to open. And I see that we have, in fact, got ourselves an unknown item. And we've actually got ourselves a quest already. So this key right here, the labs green key card, perfect. This is exactly what we want. We can drop out the intel folder and we can pop that. Oh, actually, we can drop that in a wallet. Nice. So we got ourselves a tiger. Now, the reason I don't take a sheath in is so that we can essentially have the tiger or any item that I get in the marked room just go straight into there. So it saves me inventory space. And we've also got this rig. So the reason I take in the rig is because it's a 6 slot, but it actually gives us 10 slots. So you can see we got an extra 2 slots at the bottom and an extra slot here, so it just gives us even more space, and we just fill it with rare loot, or loot in general, so saving even more space. Got ourselves a Thor. What else have we got? We got ourselves a P90, a drill, which is really nice, and then there can obviously be more marked room keys on the floor. We're really looking for containers, things like intel docs cases even. And then there's also a keycard spawn that spawns over here. So no keycard this time. We've got some weapon components that also do spawn in here. So we can have a look at those. Have we got anything interesting? Not particularly. And obviously a car battery, which is nice, but we are going to be quite heavy. A little flare. And we do have a weapon slot. So maybe we take the TX-15. We've got an AUG up here, a MTS, nothing too spectacular. I will take the hose though. And so there we go. We are very, very chunky indeed. So mega chunky. At this point, I'd probably be thinking about leaving the raid because I'm just got so much stuff. And in fact, we got a perfect extract to leave the raid, but obviously, I will come straight back into the next raid and we'll show you the other area where you can find the key and also the other route. Because this, once again, is all down to the fact that we are just searching these areas. When you play Tarkov, you don't always have to do the exact same loot run. It depends what you get. If you get really valuable stuff and you're a bit wondering whether or not you should just get out or whatever, typically just get out, because whilst it takes some time to get back into the raid itself, it really doesn't matter if you leave. You know, you can go back, you can flip around the different places that you're looking at. It doesn't have to always be the same exact run. And considering we're already pretty much full, we're going to be wasting a lot of the stuff that we're finding. You know, I've got an item that I need for a task. We've got 2 moonshines. We've got an intel folder. We're running out of space in our wallet. You know, lots of space issues. So I don't want to be like chucking out stuff and min-maxing our items. I'd rather just get out of the raid, which is exactly what we're going to do. And once again, you know, you can pick up any of the different weapons. We got a VAL, we got a TX-15. We're really just looking for the most valuable one. So what I would do now is head on over to Sewer River, which actually spawns right next to the relax room. So the extract itself, very, very nice, because of the fact that you can often, if we spawn on the other side of the map, which hopefully I will try and guarantee that we do get a spawn for the next part of the video where we spawn on the other side of the map, that we can essentially go to the relax room at the end. So we'll make our way over down to the end of the street. As you can see, it's going to take me a while because we don't have the best endurance or anything. This yellow building directly in front of us is real estate agency office, and there can be PMCs that spawn in this building. They do loot it up, as well as all outside, so they can be in this archway over here, they can move through here and move over here, and also in this yellow building right here. We've got a stand back so we can pick up our bag, and then we'll make our way over there. Hopefully we find ourselves some PMCs just to showcase exactly where they are. So we're checking down the street, and we'll make ourselves over here. If you are running out of food and you really need food, or you're searching for food for a task, this building right here, it's a shopping mart or little like grocery store or whatever. And so that also has a ton of food spawns actually inside of it, which you can obviously go and loot up and get some food if you're running out in the raid, or you want food for later on down the line. So that's a nice little addition as well. And then here we go straight to the extract. Now, there is a way where we can run to factory even. You can transit over to factory and you can keep on repeating the loop of looting, but there's no point really doing that unless we're searching for a specific item or something in Relaxation Room. But with the Relax key, it is only a 2 out of 2 use key, but it's guaranteed every raid as long as you search all of the spots, which we'll show in the next part of the video where we jump into the next raid. But yeah, I'll join you in a sec. So each one of those moonshines is 440,000 rubles. We got actually 3 of them. Obviously, I decided to drink one of them. But either way, 440,000 each, so we would have had 1.3 million rubles just off of those. Obviously, you pay a flea commission or a fee commission, but we can actually add these as an offer. So we just click auto select similar. I don't know why it's not liking that. We obviously had our generic rare loot spawns as well, so the golden skulls, the veritas picks and stuff like this. Often they're not worth anything more even on the flea of what you can get just selling them to traders, like the gold skulls do, but the book isn't. The scav figurine, they're typically not, unless you want to use them for the specific cultist circle stuff that you can do. We got ourselves some hideout items, some more rare spawns, and you can see the badges, the SAS drives. And the great thing about like these SAS drives and stuff of a similar liking is that if we have a look at the price of them and the fact that we can sell them on the flea straight away, 90,000 rubles for that one. So as you can see, green keycard, 1.7 million rubles for one of these. So nice to have that in the marked room. So we made a little bit of money off of that. We got the TX15 early game. We got the Tiger as well. So I don't know how much these are right now, 500k. So nothing major, but a little bit of extra money from that marked room. And then, yeah, some food spawns that are going to keep us all hydrated up for the next raid. So we can instantly go back into the next raid and not spend any more of our food or anything like that. So all of these hideout items, they do sell, but most of them are required like level 30, 25, but they're great to upgrade your hideout as you're going along. And obviously, if we're upgrading our own hideout, it opens up new barters, it opens up new stuff that we can do for ourselves to get items that maybe you're after to upgrade your hideout again. And upgrading your hideout is super valuable early game. It is one of the things you should be doing. One of the things that happened recently, you can put med spawns in your secure container once again. So you can see we've got alu splint in our actual back pocket here, our pouch. And then, yeah, once again, some more keys that we had and some herring, etc. So we can just drop those in there for the next raid, and then some weapon components as well. So we'll drag those and drop those out and get ready for the next raid alongside this TX15, which I need to find space for. There we go, into a folder for 220k. We got ourselves a whiskey, which isn't really worth anything, but because it's not worth anything, we can sell it off to the traders as with all of the other rare loot. So there you go, we can sell off all of these rare loot things for, you know, 230k, so that Jack Daniels, so 300k just in the just quick sellable stuff that we just sell to the traders. And then obviously we got some other bits that we can use to upgrade the hideout as well. And that is how I've been upgrading my hideout as I'm going along. I'm just basically selling all of the rare loot from these sorts of runs to make me the money, which I'll use later on down the line, and then upgrading all of my hideout items where I can, finding all of the bits for the hideout, the light bulbs and the wires and everything that we can't just sell on the flea anyway, so we might as well use them ourselves to upgrade. So this is why this run in particular is a really good one. And we got the defective wall over here, and let's hope we can upgrade our nutrition unit. And we've sold some of those stuff that we actually listed up, so we're up to 1.5 million and we've made a ton of money already. And of course got ourselves hideout items. Perfect, that's exactly what we want, and a lot of it didn't even come from the Mark Dream at all. We're keeping all of the bits from the Mark Dream basically because I want to use them for some future videos. So yeah, interesting stuff. Let's jump back into the raid and I'll show you off the other side of the route. Alright, perfect. We have spawned on the opposite side. So we can now make our way over to a couple of different buildings. Now, if you've been watching the videos in the last coming days, you probably understand whereabouts we are if you were trying to do the labs key that was recently added in a new room, which then gives you a room on the streets. This is the building of which you actually go up into and are able to use the actual key. But the main thing is that you go up the stairs over there. That's where you can go up to where that previous thing is. But, however, what we have found, having done some runs on stream yesterday, is that this bank area right here, this does have a ton of filing cabinets. And by a ton, I mean an absolute load of them. And they're everywhere, all around here. This is probably one of the best kind of filing cabinet runs that you can do. And obviously, because we're on streets, we're getting lots of valuable streets keys. You can get check 15 key out of these, and all sorts of actual keys that come out of these. They're usually streets related or interchange related is what I've been finding a lot of. Sometimes you find, I don't really find the dorms keys, which typically aren't worth anything anyway. But as you can see, finding lots of those, once again, hideout items that we're after. So I'll basically just say if we get anything decent, and I'll just run through all of these filing cabinets and you can see all of them individually. Next set of filing cabinets are through the door over here. We've got 4 of them, so 2 on each side. Oh, we got the Ollie cash register key as well out of one of these. Oh, Dorms 114 key there, so could save you on the barter there. And then through this little door, there's a little safe over here, but there's got another set of filing cabinets. So once we've done that, there is a little cash box or cash register right here, which gives us like 20k flat rubles, which is always nice. And then on the side over here, we've got some more. And then, if you thought that wasn't enough, if we go on over to the other side of the building through these little doors, we have even more filing cabinets over here. So there's a 3 set of drawers. Ollie logistics key, a GPX, which is not bad at all. Concordia security room key. Oh, we actually got the Tarbank cash register key as well, which is nice. Right, so once we've actually done that bit, we can pick up some food spawns, which spawn on the little desks over here. And then we'll make our way directly across the street to the next part of the route. So if you need food spawns, there are also some food spawns in this little building over here. We need to be a bit careful to the left because there can be PMC AI over there, so careful of those. This room can have some tech spawns in, but it's very rare. Like, I never really bother checking it. But we come into this room over here and we have some more filing cabinets. Another security room key. We got the real estate agency office key, so another really good one for, you know, going into that real estate building that we showcased in the first run where there was the yellow. So you can go in there. There's some PCs and stuff. A Nixor lens. Another Nixor lens. Holy damn. There's also a ton of tech items that can spawn in here on the shelves. So always worth even checking those. And then through here we got a rare spawn to the left of this scav. And then to the right of the scav there's usually a duffel bag as well. And then what we do is I will run directly out of this room. Hop over this little thing, and then we'll deal with that scav down the street. Now, one thing that I've been finding on the streets is that the scavs that you can take out on here seem to be mega cracked out in terms of the loot that they have on them. So if they've got 2 weapons, you basically know that they're worth looting their back pockets and themselves. So this one only has 1, so There is a decent amount of search XP, so search XP usually gives you an indication of if they've got anything. This one, not so much. So you can see here, he's got a rare on him, which was basically what that was pinging to us. And then down the street a little bit more, hopefully we'll find the other scav that we took out, which is this guy. He only had one weapon on him, but in his back, he's got a full stack, so we can use some of that. He's got a new key, which was added, the RUS post key. Now, I will say before anyone says, how come you're not using a keychain? It's simply because I do not have a keychain. So, yeah, there's that. And then once we've done like the street, we've cleared it out, we come into this building right here. So you can see the outside, just for those of you wanting a bit of coordinates. And in here on the right hand side, we've got more filing cabinets. And once we've done this room, we will then make our way over to this one. And there's some more drawers. We have a little safe in the corner as well. And then I am absolutely chock-a-block. You can go upstairs, and I believe that there's another filing cabinet in there. But because we've got so much loot on us, I'll take you to the next run, and all of the stuff that I've got is what I need for various tasks or to upgrade the hideout. So we got another scav that we took out whilst we were doing what we were doing, and you once again, as you can see, they are absolutely stacked, just full of stuff. Vodka, apples, clocks. We found a marked room key on a scav that we took out in this kind of later portion of the raid. The longer that you're in the raids, typically the scavs will have more gear on them. So we've got another scav looking at us. Not there. Where is he? So that one actually had 2 weapons. So let's go have a look and see what he had actually on him. He had both a pistol and an AKS. So some ammo. Rubles is nice. An ES lamp is also good. We can get rid of the salt because I don't need that anymore. And then now it's time for us to make our way to where we can pick up the relaxation room key at the guaranteed spawn for it. And then we will get out of this raid. You've already seen what the relaxation room can be like in the first part of the video, in the first raid that we did. And now we'll show where we can get that key that opens up all of the good loot. So this is the building. So it is literally on the corner. It is what you would call Zemeski 6. So we go inside of here. And then there are a variety of key spawn locations. There's one in this little tray and on these like pins. I think there's one on the table. And then we come in here. And then there's a spawn next to this like block thing, safe or whatever. And then there's one on top of this like file cabinet thing, gun rack or whatever. And it's on there, like literally on top of it. There's one on here on this little hookah, which is in the bathroom for some reason, like in the little tray at the top. And then there's duffel bags like there and also in that room we were in. You got weapon component spawns that do spawn on the floor, as you can see there, a PT-74S, toolboxes. This is another locked room, which is negotiation room, which we got the key for, but I've already got like 3 of them. And yeah, the key can spawn behind there, but for the most part it won't. Then there's a key spawn in there. And then there's a key spawn on here, which is actually where it has spawned. So let me drop something out real quick. And there we go. Lots of food spawns and just good general spawns as well. You got duffel bags and you can get moonshines and stuff in here as well, since it is food spawns, food and drink spawns. You got PCs as well that you can loot in here. So definitely worth checking those. I'm not going to because I'm already stacked out of loot. So yeah. In here, we also have a key spawn in between the legs of the mannequin, literally on the crotch. So you'll find another key spawn. And then in the mouth of this little skull over on the opposite side desk, that is where it will spawn. And then over in the next room, so there's quite a few rooms in here. Over here, it will spawn in like the little placard thing in there, like next to the umbrella. So it'll be there. if it does spawn in that one. Always check the desk here because I've found moonshine, and I've also found next to the cactus GPU as well. And you can find them on the desk on most of these areas. So where those pack of, or that like desk, Tarkov disk or whatever, that is where also you can find some tech spawns. And then there's computers and everything in here as well as food. And then the final couple of spawns are this one in here, over by the trash bag, like behind the actual bin bags is where you'll find another spawn. And then over here, underneath the pizza box at the back, you'll also find the spawn. So like lying right there, that's where it'll be. And then the other one is literally in the corner behind the trash bags is the other spot for it. Got loads of toolboxes in here as well, so nice to pick those up for hideout items. And then once we've done that, we can make our way to extract. So extract wise, we've got damaged house, crash site. Crash site is the closest one to us, so we're going to make our way over there. There's a pretty safe route. Up on this street, this is sometimes where you'll encounter PMCs because they spawn in the shop directly opposite, Spire. So if you need food spawns, you can go in there as well if you wanted to. And then this little area, this little room with the door open, this is where they can go inside of. So careful of those. And then, yeah, pretty much from here, we'll run. They can also spawn down the end of the street. You can see PMCs. And then typically I will check this jacket, which spawns. There's also 2 duffel bags in here as well, so it's worth having a look. We got an apartment corporate key, and there's the duffel bag, and there's also one down there. They don't always spawn though, so it's luck of the draw. And then there's a load of technical crates and food crates. So technical crates are these, so you can find a load of good technical items. Probably going to be a car battery or something. Oh, it's a hand drill. And then over here, there's another one. Let's have a quick gander at them, see if we can get anything decent. Ooh, okay, never mind. We did. And a water filter. But I don't think I want to drop anything out, to be honest. We can drink the tar cola, and maybe I can figure out something else. And there we go. So that's those. There's also a crate over here. So that's those ones. And then inside of this, we also have 2 jackets, so you can see here. Obviously, you can get any key, marked room keys inside of the jacket, so you should always check jackets whenever you can. I have found so many marked room keys from inside of them. And then from here, you can go in here. There's a toolbox spawn down on the corner, as well as a duffel bag and another duffel bag. Only 1 duffel bag spawned in this raid. But then we come across the street. And we go down into the parking area. This is the safest route to get into extract when you fill out of loot. And into the parking area. Now, there can be scavs down here. I have found them. I don't typically see PMCs down here, but it is 1.0, so there could be changes. You know, the pathing of PMCs and stuff could have changed. But the area that I do see PMCs is as we come up. So on the left in these little buildings, you can find them. So you can find them in these rooms like directly here. But we're going down to the crash site, which is over here. So we just run. If you need to take cover, just take cover behind one of these. If you need, just stand back. And we run down here. You can check duffel bags, but we just run behind the crashed helicopter. And just crouch behind or lie down or whatever. And then we're safe. We can extract from the raid. And that is basically the runs in reverse that you can do. There are some variations. We have done a streets run, which is also very, very good. That utilizes a whole set of different objectives for the high end where you are trying to make more money. But in the early game, this seems to be the way that I can make a lot of money and get a lot of the hideout items I need, as opposed to just getting flat rubles from selling things. But obviously we can't sell those things until we're high enough level to do that anyway. So yeah, this is a really, really good way of making money. It's how I'm going to be making my money on the game. It seems to be one of the best routes, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. There's tons of different spawns everywhere. You can do the route in reverse. You can do it in all of the rooms that we talked about, all in one raid. You can run the run however you want to do it. But yeah, just generally super cracked out of its brain when it comes to both hideout items and money, and just the chance of getting really good stuff as well, marked room keys and that sort of stuff, because of all of the containers, drawers, and everything that we're opening. But you can see we've got some pretty damn good keys. I don't know how much all of these are. That's like 30k, nothing major. The 114 would be worth a lot. Ollie logistics, or Ollie cash registers. We got logistics is 300k. This tar bank key is 1.38 million. So if we were able to sell them, they're really expensive, and that is because the areas that you can open with them are also very good. Like, for example, this tar bank cash register can get you 1 million rubles just from opening it up, because of the amount of rubles that you get in stacks now, and yeah, it's crazy. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, subscribe and like the video if you did, and join me back in the next video. See you there. Goodbye.